The air is charged with electricity and whispers in the hidden basement of the club. Rows of servers hum like a digital swarm. Large monitors project lines of code in greenish and bluish tones. The sound of typing is constant, like the heartbeat of an invisible giant. Lidia, resting her hands on the table, her gaze sharp. I want to tell you something. I've been tracking the people who attacked my grandfather, and it looks like we finally have something. Max and Caliop exchange a glance. Ivan, reclined in a chair, checks his phone with indifference. Dagmar, lying to the side, follows the environment with alert eyes. Lidia, crossing her arms. We received a message through the dark web from a, let's say, occasional collaborator. He says he has information about who attacked my grandfather, what they're looking for, and why. She pulls out a pen, scribbles an address on a piece of paper, and slides it toward Max. Lidia, I'm going to send him a message to set up a meeting. And you, handsome. Smirking, looking at him, you're going to get the information out of him. You owe me, and you owe it to my grandfather. Max looks at the note on the table before raising his eyes toward her with an unreadable expression. Lidia, looking at Caliop with feigned innocence. And you, posh girl. I did some digging. I know who you are. I know you're a big shot in your field. So, why don't you do something useful? You and my guys can analyze the vinyl sleeve, see what you find. If you want, the big guy can stay with you so you feel safer. Caliop crosses her arms and watches her silently. Lidia, leaning on the table with a mischievous smile. Oh, and one more thing. We're going to play that vinyl later. Caliop, narrowing her eyes, with a tense smile. So now you're giving the orders? Max lets out a sigh. Max, calmly. Caliop, it's your call. But right now, it's not a bad idea. Caliop stays thoughtful, her gaze shifting between Lidia, Max, and Ivan. Finally, she sighs and nods. Caliop, firmly. All right, Maximum. We're in this together. Turning to Lidia with a composed expression. I'll do it for your grandfather. And I'm not falling for your provocations. Someone like you can't offend me. Lidia raises her eyebrows and lets out a giggle. Lidia, with a shrug. Whatever you say. At that moment, Ivan mutters something in Russian without lifting his eyes from his phone. Max turns to him with an exasperated sigh. Max, annoyed. Ivan, this is the last time I'm translating for you. You speak the language just fine. If you don't want to use it, that's on you. Ivan, unbothered, still staring at his screen. No Wi-Fi here. I want to order food. Lidia bursts out laughing. Lidia. I like you, big guy. Don't worry about Wi-Fi, my crew will sort you out. Make yourself at home. Max rubs his face with a hand, Caliop rolls her eyes, and Dagmar yawns. Lidia points at the piece of paper on the table. Lidia. The contact's name is Romeo. That's the address. Max picks up the note, studies it, then looks at her with curiosity. Max. You're not coming? Lidia, with a sly smile. We operate in the shadows, handsome. She turns, flashing a triumphant grin at them all. Lidia. Everyone clear? Then let's get to work. A dimly lit alley somewhere in the heart of the city. Amid the shadows, one man stands out, Romeo Iromulus I Kuznetsov. His perfectly tailored suit, expensive shoes that don't belong on such filthy ground, and meticulously styled hair mark him as an outsider in this grim setting. With a cigarette between his fingers, Romeo checks his watch and sighs in irritation. From the street entrance, Max appears. His stride is slow, casual, hands in his pockets. He belongs here. Romeo, exhaling smoke with a sardonic grin. Finally. I suppose you're my contact. How original, or a dark alley for the exchange. So cliché. Max, without breaking stride, voice flat. You're the only one here alone. Romeo frowns, but before he can reply, something stirs in the dark. From the opposite end of the alley, emerging like a predator, Dagmar walks with steady, deliberate steps. His gaze is locked on Romeo, the eyes of a hunter who's already chosen his prey. Romeo, raising his hands, half smiling. Easy, tough guy. I don't want to ruin my suit. I'm just a businessman. And yes, I've confirmed the payment. Max. You got something for me? Romeo slips a hand into his pocket and pulls out a USB drive. He holds it delicately between two fingers and extends it toward Max. Romeo. Here you go. Max steps closer, just enough to invade Romeo's space. He snatches the drive with a swift motion and inspects it for a moment. Then he fixes his gaze on Romeo, scanning him from head to toe. Romeo keeps his smile, but gulps quietly. Romeo. Come on, man. We're done here, right? Without a word, Max turns around. Dagmar follows, and together they vanish into the shadows of the alley. Romeo waits a few seconds, making sure he's alone. Then he pulls out his phone, dials a number, and raises it to his ear. Romeo. Lira, they've got the tracker and the malware. I expect my payment. With a crooked smile, Romeo stubs out his cigarette with his shoe and disappears into the night. Interior, Itherworld's End a Pub, night. Antique stained glass panels on the ceiling filter the neon light, creating a striking contrast between old and new. Framed vinyl records and vintage string instruments adorn the walls, silent witnesses to the place's long history. Max steps through the door with his usual relaxed stride. But before he can take another step, he senses the tension in the air. At the center of the pub, Caliop and Lidia are locked in a heated argument. The energy between them crackles, fire meeting ice. Off to the side, perched at the bar, Ivan watches with his ever-indifferent expression, nursing his vodka. Max leans against the bar and raises an eyebrow. Max. Sighing, half smiling. Hey ladies, before you kill each other, mind filling me in? No one answers. The argument between Caliop and Lidia rages on as if he hadn't spoken. Suddenly, Dagmar barks. The sharp sound cuts through the pub like a hammer striking steel. Silence falls. Max pats the dog's flank. Max. Thanks, buddy. Lidia crosses her arms and turns to Max. Lidia. So, how'd it go with Romeo? Do you have the info? Max reaches into his pocket and pulls out a USB drive. He places it on the bar. Lidia eyes it intently before picking it up, curiosity and mischief dancing on her face. Caliop exhales sharply, clearly annoyed. Max looks at both women and lets out a long breath. Max. Right. Now, can someone explain what the hell is going on here? Or is this just another ego match? Both women open their mouths at once. Caliop. Please, you go first. Lidia. No, sweetheart, I insist, or you first. They lock eyes in a silent standoff. Finally, Caliop relents and crosses her arms. Caliop. After analyzing the vinyl sleeve with Lidia's team, we've come to a conclusion. It's not just a record. It's a location. And more than that, a vibration. A sound pattern we were able to synthesize and record. Lidia nods with pride. Lidia. Exactly. Now the question is, what happens if we play it again? If we talk to that thing, Aman? Caliop holds her gaze. Caliop. No. We can't. A literal troll told us not to listen. Lidia shrugs with a defiant smile. Lidia. Okay, but come on. Really? You don't have any questions? Caliop narrows her eyes. Caliop. And how do you know the answers will be true? Lidia leans on the bar, spinning the USB drive between her fingers. Lidia. The better question is, what danger is there in playing it just once more? Listen, then decide for ourselves. Silence. Max, who's been quietly observing, straightens up and folds his arms. Max. May I offer an opinion, ladies? They both look at him. Max. I agree it's risky. But if a man sent us to the troll, why? Was it a trick? If the answer was in the sleeve all along, why the detour? He looks at Caliop, then at Lidia. Max. Let's play it. Let's hear what it says. And then we decide. Caliop takes a deep breath. Finally, she nods. Caliop. All right. But this time, we're asking the questions. The atmosphere in the pub is thick with anticipation. The stained glass ceiling throws distorted reflections across the room under the soft neon glow. The air smells of old wood, smoke, and mystery. Lidia, with a sly smile. So, we're all in agreement then? Max, Ivan, and Caliop exchange glances. No one answers, but the silence says it all. Lidia nods and walks away toward the back room. After a few minutes, she returns carrying an old gramophone, her expression unusually serious, almost reverent. She sets it down carefully on the central table, as if placing an altar. Lidia, whispering to herself. Come on, Grandpa, give us something good. Then she heads behind the bar, rummages through the shelves, and pulls out the vinyl wrapped in its worn sleeve. But that's not all she brings. From behind the bar, she also pulls out an old shotgun and, without warning, tosses it to Ivan. Lidia, with a crooked smile. Here, friend, just in case. Ivan catches it with one hand and, effortlessly, rests it on his shoulder. Next to him, Max lets out a sigh. Ivan, shrugging. Better than a toast. Lidia, satisfied. Fits you like a glove. Without further delay, Lidia approaches the gramophone holding the vinyl. Before placing it down, she glances once more at the group, making sure everyone is ready. Lidia. The better question is, what danger is there in playing it just once more? Listen, then decide for ourselves. Silence. Max, who's been quietly observing, straightens up and folds his arms. Max. May I offer an opinion, ladies? They both look at him. Max. Lidia, playfully. Let the dance begin. She sets the vinyl on the turntable and starts the gramophone. Immediately, something shifts in the atmosphere. The pub's lights seem to be swallowed by the stained glass, neon colors fade, and a vibration runs through the floor. The sound emerging from the gramophone is unintelligible at first, a distorted murmur, as if reality itself were unraveling. Then, a man manifests. A man, resonant, ethereal voice. I know you have questions. Choose your words carefully. You, the. But before he can continue, Caliop interrupts. Caliop, firm, without hesitation. Okay, listen carefully. We're not your toys. So start with the basics. Who or what are you? What is the threat you speak of? And what the hell is the object you want us to find? The silence stretches for a second, and the air turns icy. Then a man responds. A man, enigmatic. Caliop, daughter of the stars, fearless and determined. A chill runs down Caliop's spine. A man. I am a man. I live in the threads of time. Soon you will know me. The lights flicker. The pub's structure seems to vibrate with an unseen force. A man, grave, solemn. The threat looming over this reality is your very nature. And I intend to mend it, before it's too late. Max frowns. Max, with suspicion. And the object? A man. An ancient artifact. A key that opens a portal. You will need it. A man, his voice fading. I will be watching. Time is running out. Suddenly, the pub shakes violently. Before they can react, a small explosion blasts open the back door. The roar echoes through the silence as a cloud of blackened smoke spreads down the rear hallway. From the darkness emerges a confident silhouette. Lira. Beside her, the monstrous presence of Kravos, and several armed men. Lira, smirking. Wonderful, or all gathered. Makes things easier. Lira's men raise their weapons. Ivan exhales with disdain and slowly sets his shotgun down on the bar. Ivan, sarcastic. This'll be quick. And almost painless.